世界を学ぶという
豊かな未来を創造。
観光学の扉を
どう IT で
人間というのは自然のものを美しく非常に面白い
科学の力が自分自身への投資。
平成生まれの諸君
10分で見せる学問研究分野の面白さ。
Hello everyone, and thank you for watching my video. Today I'm going to talk about 4 rules to know about English pronunciation before entering university. My plan today is to help you understand how spoken English can get you better at listening and speaking. First of all, I'll use some idioms, and then I'm going to explain the 4 rules to you. So 2 ideas coming together, idioms plus 4 new rules. We'll bring those together to help you get better at listening and speaking. Okay, let's have a look at today's idioms. So piece of cake. Find your feet. Time is money. Cut to the chase. Go with the flow. Time flies like an arrow. Let the cat out of the bag. And finally, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Okay, so how many of these do you know? Do you know all 8? Or do you know many of them, some of them? If there are any idioms that you're not sure about, here's a little Japanese explanation for you. So now you know, for example, that piece of cake means something easy. To find your feet means to get used to a new situation. It's a very useful idiom for university life. Okay, so these are our idioms. You'll see them again later. Let's look now at the 4 rules. The 4 rules begin with the letters C, J, J, and D. This means change, join, jump, and disappear. How does this work? Let me explain by talking about change first of all. Sounds can change in spoken English. So for example, when we have a T and a Y, this is going to sound like a ch sound. When we have a D and a Y, it's going to sound like a j sound. For example, did you sounds like did you in spoken English. Aren't you sounds like aren't you in spoken English. There are many cases of this. So did you, D plus Y sounds like a j. Did you, would you, could you, should you? There are many cases of this rule. The other example we just saw, T plus Y, aren't you, don't you, haven't you, how about you? Also things like next year, last year. So this is a very useful rule to know that sounds can change. T plus Y sounds like ch, D plus Y sounds like j. Okay, let's look at our idioms. So we've seen sounds can change, and we've seen find your feet. And we've seen, if at first you don't succeed, try again. If you look here, you can see a D and a Y. So find your feet. Here you can see a T and a Y. First, you. So find your feet is going to sound like find your feet. If at first you don't succeed is going to sound like if at first you don't succeed. Try again. Very useful advice. So sounds can change. Okay, we've seen that one. Moving on. Sounds can join. How do sounds join in spoken English? Let's have a look. Now sounds can join when 2 similar sounds become one sound, like this. So for example, went to. Went to has 2 T sounds. Went to. That's going to become one sound, like went to. On Monday. On Monday, 2 sounds coming together. On Monday, I went to Hakata Station. So 2 sounds become one, they join together. Now we've seen these idioms already. Cut to the chase. T and T, that's a little difficult to say. Go with the flow, that's a little difficult to say. Cut to the chase. Go with the flow. It's going to sound like this. Cut to the chase. Go with the flow. So these sounds are joining together. That's our second rule of spoken English. Okay, our third rule. Sounds can jump. What does that mean? Sounds in spoken English can jump. Well, for example, I'm from England. From England. That sound is going to jump over like this. I'm from England. Okay, so when we have a consonant and a vowel, it jumps from England. From England. I live in. I live in. The sound will jump over the word boundary. Now let's look at our example. Time is money. Time flies like an arrow. Time is very busy today. We can see time is, that's going to jump. Like an, that's going to jump. There's one more. An arrow, that's also going to jump. So time is money becomes time is money. Time flies like an arrow becomes time flies like an arrow. These sounds are jumping. This will help your speaking and your listening and all the lessons you take in university. Okay, so sounds can jump. There's only one more thing we need to learn, and that's that sounds can disappear. So how do sounds disappear? Let's have a look at that. Final sounds, final consonants and nothing. So what's happening here? Hot becomes hot. Stop becomes stop. And job becomes job. So when we have a final T, a final D, a final B, a final P, a G, a K, or an ING, the sound is cut, the sound is lost. We don't pronounce it. So my hobby is shopping becomes my hobby is shopping. Today is very hot. We should stop. I like my job. These sounds are all disappearing every time. It's a very strong rule of spoken English. Okay, let's look at our idioms. Now the first one is easy because it's a piece of cake. The second one, let the cat out of the bag. Now we can see the final sound in cake is a K sound. That's going to disappear. There are many cases in the second idiom. Let, cat, out, and bag. These sounds are all going to disappear. Let's have a look. So piece of cake becomes piece of cake. Let the cat out of the bag becomes let the cat out of the bag. These sounds have all disappeared. Okay, now I'm going to disappear. Today's theme was how to understand spoken English and 4 rules that explain many things. And these 4 rules were sounds can change, sounds can join, sounds can jump, and sounds can disappear. So with these rules, you can have a very successful life in your listening speaking classes in university. So that's the end of my talk today. I've talked about 4 rules that will affect you in your university classes. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching today's video.